Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACT, and it's always a pleasure every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 to 9 where we talk sports. And no, this is not Synergy TV. There's ACTL. Let me welcome my guests for tonight. Both of them were sometime in the past hosts of a very successful sports program on Synergy TV. And, well, you know, Dennis is always here, and every time he comes to the station, there's a controversy. The first time he come was Khalifa Sanford. The next time he come, Brianna Williams. Next time he come,
might be somebody else.
Michelle Yahi. But anyway, tonight we're talking sports, and let me introduce to you first of all Christopher Gill. Now, Christopher holds many hats.
Yeah, going good night, people. Don't bother to go in there.
We are going in because we're going to be here for the next edition of Scoreboard. Chris, it's a pleasure.
Same here. Nice to meet you.
The CEO
all the time.
Rep 868, Dennis Allen. And for the next hour or so, we want to touch on some important sporting matters that has, surfaced.
Without controversy.
Without controversy.
Wow.
But that ain't going to happen.
But before we go for that, first of all, let me say again, congratulations to our Trinidad and Tobago national cycling team. They have really done us proud. And for quite a while now, cycling and track and field. And to a lesser extent, we're not paying a lot of attention to swimming. But those three sports are really pulling in a lot of medals and giving us a lot of recognition. But track and field and the cycling is getting all the media hype, and the swimming is there. But we're gonna touch about that.
You know, fella, I will always call all kind of different weird, odd sports.
Yeah.
Badminton had, I think it was 41 medals at Caribaco.
Right. Archery is another sport.
Archery is another sport. But you know who? Samantha Wallace, Calypso girl, player of the game.
Yeah, she's
in the grand final. Big
netball.
things.
Netball is one of the sports.
Enough shout out to Samantha Wallace. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I like the fact that we, touching on the cycling, I think we did a great job. Erin Hartwell, at least, with those guys, are doing a fantastic job of certainly making them world class. They already are, but just making them much. Getting that little extra is always needed to get the guys. I love the fact that our athletes are. I had a conversation with Ephraim Surratt prior to my departure, and he always talked about the fact that he thought they had a somewhat of a, I want to say a development program. It's not quite that, but they had intentions of going. They're going in the right direction. Swimming always has a good young youth group coming in. And I was able to see Dylan Carter swim at Pan Am's on TV, not live. Somebody didn't buy me a ticket to go Peru, but I'm not. I ain't holding it against you. And so I want to see more swimmers come through. I think those three sports always tend to lead the way at, like when we go to our games, like if we go at Pan Am Games, or if we go the Olympics, or we go the CC Games, which are the three big ones, and Commonwealth obviously. I would love to see other sports come through, once in a while. I would love to see that we make the, boxing is another sport.
Yes, because right now, Michael Alexander is the first Trinidad boxer to really go through in the AIBA World Championships. I think he won his bout, and he's supposed to be fighting an American shortly. So Michael Alexander, and he recently got the bronze medal at the Pan American Games.
Yeah, he did.
So boxing is well.
I think we have got boxing medals at Commonwealth Games already.
World champion.
Manswell and Kurtzinet.
So it would be nice for us to get some other sports coming up in the ranks. I mean, immediately they mightn't medal, but certainly it would be nice to have other sports get into our quarterfinals or semifinals or whatever the wrong, at least. So I'm really looking forward to that. As a person, as a trainee, you're always looking out and seeing, hey, that's what I want.
Yeah, the thing is, we have amazing talent. That's not the problem. The problem is understanding funding, right? One person in a meeting with TTOC, one of those, you know, they usually come in with seminars and different things.
Right.
She was in charge of marketing. I believe she was an American, but don't quote me on that part. Quote me on this part. She said, some people have expensive hobbies. We're not paying for your hobby. So you would have people who are yes, they're internationally competitive, but are you going to be in the medal contention? Do we in Trinidad and Tobago have enough financial resources to fund people who are not in medal contention, either at youth level or regional or hemispheric or international level?
See, this is where
I don't think we do.
George, you know, he's my partner. So
This wouldn't be the first time, right, Chris?
It wouldn't be the last time either. Let's take cycling, and I'm just taking cycling as an example because it's a sport I would know intimately, or know best, here at least. So we have you have a cycling federation that has no development officer as an elected officer, no marketing officer as an elected officer, no safety officer as an elected officer. Never have they had that. In fact, I am absolutely so sure, and Larry Romani, you probably will look at the show, they don't have a safety committee, they don't have a development committee, they don't have a marketing committee. This is 2020. Well,
almost.
Maybe, I mean, remember Mr. Romani now come on the scene, eh?
Don't worry with that. They don't have it. I know what. I gave you the facts.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, he now come on the scene, so he might put these things in place.
Listen.
Yeah.
In last year, we had horrendous accidents on the road with cyclists. Three cyclists died. To this day, there is no committee formed by the federation to educate clubs and or riders and or things so that we can possibly be safer on the road. Doesn't exist. We built a velodrome. 200. How much a velodrome cost? 600 million? 900 million?
Almost what there was
3 trillion?
3.3 billion or something like that.
I'm just joking, but it wasn't cheap. So we built a velodrome, right? And everybody at the start, when it was, pat themselves on the back, this will be the development of cycling. No, it isn't. Since the velodrome has been built, if they ran data to say how many riders have actually joined cycling as a sport, the numbers would actually show there's been a decrease.
Okay.
So building a velodrome
but could we say that there's an increase in all sports across the board?
I only deal with, yes, but again, that's because building a facility is not development.
Yeah.
That is just building a facility. Marketing.
So are you against the
No, I'm not against nobody.
Okay, right.
Marketing. I was in the federation back in 2007. Then I was asking for a marketing part. So that's 12 years ago. In that time, marketing has definitively become a more important aspect of any sporting organization. How you market, what are you marketing? None of these organizations have a marketing aspect to it. So, so in terms of the federation is an organization with committees that most of the time sit down and spend hours and hours talking about who should pick, who he should go on the team, now he shouldn't go on the team, now he should go. And then when they finalize who should go on the team, trying to find the money from it. And most of the times they're finding money not because they've marketed the sport or themselves or the athletes, but going and beg the Ministry of Sport, I want $300,000 to send these three fellas here, I want $400,000 to send these fellas.
Isn't that happening with all your other sports?
It is. So it's not that makes it right, it makes it that it's a problem that's endemic. Rather than us, it's not the norm, or rather it is the norm, and it's something that we need to look at. We haven't developed our sporting thing. So development isn't, we should go and take all these children to school, we should take these sport people into schools. And what I mean by that is, let's say we took the Nicholas Paul and those guys and they went to 20 schools. And in each school they got 5 kids who say, boy, I want to ride. I want to be the next Nicholas Paul. And we have 100 kids. What are they going to do with them? Where are they going to train? How are they going to train? What are their resources available to them? Who's going to coach them? What are we coaching them for? There's no plan.
No, if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard Larry Romani spoke about trying something similar to that what you're saying, but you need to get people more involved in cycling. Don't quote me on what I'm saying, but I think it's something similar along that line that he was talking about. He said you have to find places wherever, just to ride or something like that.
Let me jump right in here. two very important aspects of cycling that globally, mountain biking, BMX, we are obligated under the UCI rules to have the umbrella organization, the Cycling Federation, manage those things.
Okay.
So if you are a BMXer and you want to go and race BMX in the Olympics or a World Championship, you have to be sanctioned by the Cycling Federation.
Okay, yeah.
Cycling Federation has basically abdicated its responsibility on those two sports.
Yeah.
Right? There are no official TTCF events for mountain biking and BMX racing.
Well, BMX racing for certain. Maybe they might have a mountain bike national championships. I haven't been.
Is it sanctioned by the TTCF, or is it just, yeah, okay, no problem, rubber stamped by the TTCF?
Yeah.
See, now, the issue why I'm bringing that up is, these are the entry points. If you look and you watch and you drive any street in Trinidad and Tobago today, you're seeing a bike rack on the back of the car, right?
Yeah.
More than likely, you will see a mountain bike. If you drive around any city center, you're seeing kids on BMX doing all kind of different, and I only said mention one aspect of BMX racing, freestyle, street. These are things now, they're full Olympic medals.
Yeah.
We have basically said, you know what, look at the Australian program. Most of the Aussie sprinters started off in BMX.
Or some other form of
right?
sport.
Okay.
Now, these are the door knockers. This is where you say, all right, maybe you can't spend 10,000 US on a bike, to ride bike, but maybe you could spend about 3,000 TT on a BMX. See what happened. Yeah, you'll break your hand, break your foot, whatever. You might knock out a few teeth, whatever. But you know what?
I didn't think so, but go ahead.
I can tell you because I went through that.
Don't give us your life experience, right?
He lacks skill.
The point is,
yeah.
you know what? You know how much to build a BMX racing track? It's not no $750 million or anything like that. You call a Junior Sammy or a Kusals or a Mutilal Moves Mountain and say, hey, here's what, we have this backyard here, do a thing, build a track, get some coaching, bring some bikes in, and I'm talking about maybe $300,000 TT, and you have a program.
Yeah, you have
inline skating. These are things we could find people, but it's like Chris said, if we go into 10 schools tomorrow and 10 children in each school raise up their hand, and then we have physiologists and biochemists and everybody measure and probe and check, and we find out these are excellent athletes, because chances are they will be.
No, there is a guy.
Where they going?
Chad Dixon. You know that name?
Who?
Chad Dixon.
Does not ring a bell.
He's from San Fernando.
Not to say he ain't famous.
No, but
okay.
He is doing something similar to what you're saying.
With BMX?
Yeah, he has over 40-something bikes of his own.
Right. This is great.
And
this
is
a guy I want to talk to.
And really, I'll give you his number. And really and truly, now I know we had to take the first break, but really and truly, he does it on the streets.
Yeah,
that's where they are.
You understand? He does it on the streets. So you see, sometimes we sit and we talk, but there are people who have the same idea as us, but maybe what they need, because really and truly, I'm owning my interview for some time now.
Better
because
bring him on.
He needs to get that.
This is a guy I want to meet.
Right? So, viewers, we inside the controversy party, right? But this is Scoreboard. We're talking general sports tonight. Gill and Rep 868. We're coming back after the short break. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to Scoreboard on ACTN. It's a good thing we took the break from that last segment. We're talking cycling in this first part of the program, and I understand that we have the national cycle coach, Mr. Hartwell, with us on the line. Big congratulations to you and those guys for a tremendous effort and achievement we are getting on the cycle track right now. So we must say congratulations to you and the guys.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much. You know, it's always great to get the accolades of the country and our supporters with the effort and work that's been done, you know, not only at the championship event, but Pan Am Games and the preceding events over the past 2 years. And so for us, it's, you know, yeah, we do it for ourselves, you know, and for the sport of cycling, but at the same time, you know, there's a big component of doing it for the nation.
Quick question. Sometimes we as the public don't see the sacrifices that these guys make when they are in training. What would you like Trinidad and Tobago to know about these guys? Is it the commitment, the passion? What it is that drives these guys to be accomplishing so much, right, in the last couple of years?
Boy, how much time do you have? I've got a lot to say on that matter, but I'll keep it relatively short in the sense that this is a group with tremendous grit, fortitude, and perseverance. All right? These guys have been grinding as hard as anyone in the world for the past 2 years. All right? They have bought into the pitch that I've sold on what it's going to take to be world-class and Olympic caliber. And not one of them has backed down. I mean, look, it's a testing, difficult, seriously high-performance environment. All right? Not everyone's going to thrive in that. Right? It is going to take something special to be able to come to work day in and day out, 8 to 10 hours a day, all right, and put in this kind of workload. But these guys have done it. They have survived, and they have thrived, and we're now starting to see the fruits of that labor and the results that we've been able to procure, not just at World Cups and World Championships over the past year, but really, most importantly, at these recent Pan Am Games and obviously the Pan Am Championships from last week.
You know, Aaron, a big part of what your challenge would be facing a cultural wall that is very insurmountable in a lot of ways. You know, you talked about 10-hour work days. Trini culture is, we reach late for work, we don't care. You know, it start to rain, we ain't leaving home. You know, how did you break that down?
Well, I never tolerated it from the beginning, all right? That was always going to be absolutely unacceptable, all right? I didn't come here to fail. You know, I had a great job in Canada, you know, to which I was quite happy. And, you know, taking this role and responsibility in Trinidad was going to be a big task and a big ask of everyone. And so from day one, you had to be on time. You had to work hard. You had to be willing to make some sacrifice, right? Otherwise, you just weren't going to cut it, you know? And we have a very tight circle, a very small bubble in which we operate, and it's very difficult to get into. Those guys that are in it, all right, they have agreed to the challenges from day one. They recognize that the world is never going to come down to a certain level, that we will always have to step up to it. And I really commend the effort and attitude and just the continued work these guys have been capable of managing and handling, including within their personal lives, right, to be able to step up to being world-class, because it's not easy, all right? And it's definitely not easy with limited resources. And so the fact that we have a world-class velodrome, right, that helps immensely. We've got some dedicated personnel, myself included, you know, that are willing to ride this out. Then we have a handful of athletes that are fully committed to the program, you know, and this in part is why we're seeing really, you know, quite unprecedented levels of success with this team.
Just on, Chris, one of the questions I've had, and if you could just be brief on this because I want to bring Chris in. Is your system, is your program, has your success been studied or adapted by any other national sport? Has anybody been calling you to say, okay, Aaron, give us some advice. How do we change what we see here as sports fans, first of all? How do we change that? Has anybody asked you?
Great question. The simple answer is no. No one's asked. I mean, look, we're getting a lot of respect, you know, not just from within cycling, but from the sports community here in Trinidad, and more importantly, worldwide. Right? A lot of eyes are on Trinidad at the moment and have been for the past year, you know, in part because of what we've done. You know, I had a similar record of success in Canada, and so I've been able to, you know, create a culture, you know, at least where I've gone to work, you know, that exhibits the same qualities, you know, but it is quite unique here in that we do face some interesting challenges, all right, as Trinbagonians, especially here in the Caribbean, that our guys have been able to work through. And I mentioned this in an article yesterday in the Trinidad Express, you know, issues like, you know, athletes having to travel to get to training. Right, you would never see that in Europe, the United States, and Canada. Guys literally having to take taxis to go to training, to go to work, right? But our guys, you know, some of our athletes have to do that. And again, it's almost a Rocky Balboa-like, you know, attitude where these guys just get up, you know, they take a bunch of licks, but they get off the canvas every single time, fight their way through, and, you know, just forge ahead. So, you know, I'm open-minded to talking about our system. You know, folks are interested, but right now I'm focused on making sure we get to Tokyo.
All right, Aaron, hi, Chris Gill here. I wanted to ask you about two riders in particular because I've been impressed, one, with Karen Bramble. When he was in Pennsylvania this summer, I thought for me, I thought he was the rider that showed a lot of commitment and heart, and obviously his improvement on the bike seems to reflect that. And then I wanted to ask you, the second part of the question is, how is the reintegration of Quincy Alexander into the team been going?
Well, first with Bramble, I mean, look, this is a guy that I don't think people were taking seriously enough over the past couple of years. You know, I saw an absolute diamond in the rough, you know, the first time I met Darren, and felt that, you know what, give this kid a bit of time, all right, and let him take himself more seriously, and he's going to be something special. And, you know, I think it took him a little bit of time, you know, just to trust in himself and in the process and to believe that he could be a world-class athlete, you know, because, again, you see the talent there, but I just don't think that he had been on the radar of a lot of people in the national program, you know, over the past couple of years, you know. So I'm overjoyed to see him reaping some success. You know, it's great to see that he's transitioning to that position 1 for team sprint, allowing us to shuttle Jasain Phil back to P2 and then both Nicholas Paul and Queasy Brown into P3. It's really improved our times across the board in that event. And so I think Bramble is a shining light for this program and really the future of where we're going to be going into Olympic qualification. All right. And as for Quincy, you know, first and foremost, this is my job. All right. Cycling is my career. I take this role very, very seriously. All right. At the end of the day, performance matters. It is a meritocracy. You cannot just get in line and expect that your turn will come. Athletes can be in this program for years and never get a ride because they're just not ready to go. Right. With that in mind, you know, Quincy is earning his position. He had always been given that opportunity. I will never hold a bias against any athlete. I have a role and responsibility to make sure that everyone is treated transparently and fairly. And so regardless of what is said to me, as long as it doesn't border into slander and libel, all right, you know, coaches take their licks. Coaches take knocks. All right, it just comes with the territory. It's part of the game. All right, but as long as everyone is treated, treating each other fairly, transparently, there aren't going to be any issues. And it's great to see Quincy back, to see him recommitted. And, you know, I welcome his continued contribution to the program.
Coach, it was a pleasure chatting with you, and let me wish you and the guys continued success. And I extend an invitation to you to come on the program one day to sit with us and let's talk a bit about your career and what's your hope is for the future of these guys and cycling in Trinidad and Tobago. So again, thank you very much, and I will be extending an invitation to you shortly.
My pleasure, guys, and I'm happy to accept. So talk soon.
First 5-hour sport, scoreboard sport broadcast.
We have our whole
he
week,
would
so,
talk a long time about what you just said.
Really and truly, cycling really, we are at a point, we know there are issues. That's you will never get away from issues surrounding sports, right? You will never get everything that's right. But one thing we know that is right now is that this coach and this selected bunch of guys, they are committed to the sports.
Well, agreed. And so here's an interesting thing, and we were talking off camera about this. Most of those guys, in fact all of them, come from development programs done individually by clubs, not by the federation, and I'll stress that, not by the federation. Sonics and South Clean and South, mostly. There are probably a couple others, and if I didn't call you, it's not because I don't like you. And Arima Wheelers and Madonna in the East. You could count all the national riders, in fact, that are in the program currently, and they probably all have that same background. They either came from the East, the Arima Velodrome, or they came from Skinner Park. And it's so striking that with so few numbers that of riders, less than 100, we have 10 world-class cyclists in the last 10 years. You know, if you go back, you had Chris Seeley. And so it probably makes sense, if we had it, to expand a development program to have probably 400 riders. And then all of a sudden we might have way more world-class riders. You know,
we might have this magical thing they call depth.
Exactly.
But you know, I really want to know how many people really appreciate and know that we currently have the world record breaker.
I don't think people understand
in cycling.
It.
You know what it is,
world,
George?
This above Argentina, all those big,
I don't think
and he's only 20 years.
You know what it is? People don't understand when you say world record, it means that the only person faster has to be that alien who buzzed through from Mars.
Exactly.
This is the fastest human being who has ever ridden a bike for 200 meters.
Exactly.
That
is only 20 years.
Yeah, I don't think people grasp it, and I don't think people understand. You know, the development of sport is more than just the top part of it, which is what Erin is doing. But and if Erin was here, and he isn't, and if he was here and you asked him how much effort and time and everything it took to get just that part of it going, you know, Aaron is probably working, he says 10-hour days, I feel it's more like 15-hour days, and I feel it's more like 6 days a week. And that's just to run part of an elite program. He's running a sprint elite program. In some countries, there's a sprint elite program for the men, there's a sprint elite program for the women, then there's track endurance for both men and women, then there's endurance, which is road. And they have all of those, and those are just part of a program that then has, below that, a development program for the juniors, for the
youth, which would be different people.
Then there's then below that, there's a youth program for kids under 16. So that's how far. And in every sport, if you want to succeed at the Olympic level, that is the structure you need to start thinking about and what goes into that structure. I had this discussion with, I can't remember who yesterday, saying, with development, or with my good partner Gregory Sloan Seal, every day that we don't put money into development of sport, money is going down the drain. And the money is going down the drain because therein lies a youth that is no longer getting involved in sport, but possibly getting involved in crime. And that has an actual dollar cost. That has an actual dollar cost.
Hold your thought for a moment, because we need to take another break. When we come back, we will continue, because there is a topic that I want to discuss. Not already a topic, it's something I want to bring up. We have these guys, the elite cyclists, under the coach presently.
Right.
Right? God forbid something happened to one of these guys. Do we have a selected other team?
No.
Right? So.
No.
Right. So, viewers, we'll be right back. Remember, you're watching Scoreboard, Christopher Gill, Dennis Allen, and we're talking sports. But when we come back, we want to touch on cycling, and we also want to touch on some track and field, yes, some breaking news with Michelle Lee Ahi. So, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short break.
We, from those encounters together, and this was a North-South game to open the season.
So the team might be playing well, as we always say with Trinidad and Tobago.
Futsal did that great for me.
Okay, hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Field of Dreams on ACTN. My name is Steve David, I'm your host.
Welcome back, viewers. This is Scoreboard ACT, and we're having a good time. We ain't reached the controversy party yet.
Imagine that.
Right. Yeah, what I was saying is that we have the Bramble, the Kwesi Brown, Philip, and the Paul in this elite set here, right? But is there another group under this national coach?
A bunch of juniors?
Right. Maybe, well, whoever it is, but
short answer.
As it is here.
To go in explaining nothing, the answer is no.
The answer is no.
But do you think,
and not just that,
but do you think that should
answer
happen? Because
of course,
I mean,
it should happen.
Okay, take this little guy that I feel that I'm impressed with, D'Angelo Harris.
Dio, yeah.
Yeah, I'm impressed with him.
Yeah.
Right? I would have put him inside of that group there.
He's probably
just for the experience.
I think once he comes out of juniors, I think he is going to be part of that group. Okay. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. But why do we wait?
No, and
till an athlete gets a bit older? Why we don't take it from here?
In cycling, there needs to be a maturity level before you you are given the level of work necessary to become world class. And so that's very understandable. But what you look at D'Angelo Harris, he is one out of none. Besides D'Angelo, there's no other junior that can even contest a sprint and ride under 11 seconds. So that in itself is something that we need to look at. This year at the national championships for the bunch races, junior category bunch races, they could not field 4 riders to have a scratch race. That is in itself a sad situation. So you need to start looking at how come we don't have a group of juniors coming to ride. And I'm just going to cut away for something different. So a friend of mine sends me a picture of her son, and this is in Pennsylvania, at a cross-country event. Close to 500 kids, high school kids. Now, out of those 500 kids, 5 might turn out to run athletics in their life. But at least they're going to have a bunch of kids that are enjoying sports. Some of them might end up playing soccer. Some of them might football, as we say in Trinidad. Some of them might do something else. They might get into some other sport. They might do running. But you have healthy people. We don't even have that sort of mentality in thinking of how we develop our sports. We have a national sport policy that is, for all intents and purposes, as I told my good friend Brian Lewis, just a policy to say how to run around in our football field. Nothing really. What is it aimed at? Making our kids healthier, making them smarter in school? No, it's just nothing. We don't have a plan. And that's what you need. You need somebody to say, here's a plan. We actually need to have a sport development company. Forget Sport TT. They're just dealing with all the NGOs, and that's enough stress as it is. We need a sport development company to have a plan to say we're going to develop sports. And this is what we're going to do. These are the things that are stopping us from developing sports. These are the obstacles in our way, and we need to plan it for every sport so that they can actually develop the sport.
You know, a lot of the NSOs in Trinidad and Tobago, actually, their development model is competitive. They don't have, so you will see on a track meet day, you'll see children on the 9, on the 10, on the 11, on the 13, on the 15. You'll see all of that, right? You won't see, like what you just mentioned there, cross country. You won't see a basketball team from a school running a cross country. You won't see the hockey team, the swim team. You won't see it, right? But we know that for youth athletes, multi-sport is how you develop a strong body.
Yeah.
So you'll have a sprinter with legs big so, but they have no core. You have a volleyball player, bad knees, bad hips, bad flexor, bad mobility. Why? Because you might have been a volleyball player, but you never did anything else. So these are the things. Jump 3 times, by the time you're 16, 17, 18, your knee busted. We have to understand what development in sport is. Development in sport does not mean that we have 200 people going to run and win Carifta gold medals. We have 200 people pushing the 3 or 4 people who are going to be Olympians one day if they stick to it. But those 200 people will grow up to be the fans. They will grow up to be the healthy people.
Administrators.
Right? They will grow up to be sports administrators, the people who say, you know
Coaches.
what, I don't like how Chris promote that event, you know, I go and try my new ideas. So without that farm, you have nothing.
Which is where we've been.
Right? Look at the event this weekend, PSL Fire on Wheels. UCI level what? Level 1 event, right?
Yeah.
Youth men's scratch race, 4 cyclists.
Sad.
Why? Because the reality in Trinidad and Tobago is, unless you put juveniles in your event, when you book a juvenile event, your mommy come in, your daddy had a drive, and whoever else might come in the car too, maybe the sister, because you can't pay for a babysitter. So you automatically, one juvenile entrant means 5 people come in. Right? And if you leave the juveniles race to the last race, they go stay because they want to get a race for little junior. Take them out. What is the incentive for them to come? Because like Jamal was saying, we don't have real sports fans, you know. We have people who support their kids. So these are realities that we need to accept for now and then motivate and change. We have to, it's an engineering solution, you know. Social engineering.
Yeah, cultural engineering.
Before we run out of time.
Because we will.
Because we will. Let's talk about World Championship in Doha 2019. Trinidad and Tobago will not see Michelle Leahy for maybe the first time in some years.
Probably won't see until February 2021.
Right. No, that's a long time, eh?
It is.
Now, that could either make you or break you if the mindset is not... But what we've seen here is that she's banned because she missed the doping test 3 times. But only recently, the American guy... Christian Coleman.
Different scenario completely.
So I will talk first part.
Explain to us, because a lot of people are confused because they're looking at the two.
Yeah, the first thing they will say is American boy, big Sawate boy, and it's just we little people.
To the public. Now it's two different scenarios.
The first thing, to be quite honest with Michelle Leahy, there seems to be a level of naivety either with her or her management team or whatever. To miss 3 tests within a 12-month period is not impossible.
She was on honeymoon or something?
Might have been on honeymoon, but here's the problem. The second test is somewhere around February 23rd. And so when you have missed that test, and they would have informed her, you know, within the week, they would have said, well, Michelle, look, we came to look for you and you wasn't there. You could almost know to yourself as an athlete, they're going to be hunting for me over the next between
however period of time
whatever
till you
period
end of your
is.
12 months.
And they are almost as if they are going to be coming after me. So you know what? I have to make double sure, triple sure that whenever they call, wherever it is I say I was supposed to be, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And if it is that, as my boy say, if she leave her phone in the girl handbag or she went wherever, the problem is when the ban comes, they don't ban your manager or your coach or your lawyer or any, they ban you. So the ultimate responsibility always lies with you. And I think for I am disappointed for an athlete of her knowledge and experience to find herself in such a situation. I'm disappointed. Take over.
The test window is 12 months, 365 days. But the way it works right now, pending change, because they're going to change it, you have a 90-day block of days that you have to put in your reporting. The part Chris mentioned about your phone is because there's an app called what? Adams? Right. The app which you can update your whereabouts will tell them where you are. Yeah. So if you need to make a change, because 90 days is a long time for a professional athlete. You don't know what might happen. You might twist an ankle. You might need to go to a physio. The physio might send you to go and get platelet therapy. You might, who knows? So there is a flexibility built into the system.
Yeah.
If in your 90-day block, your 90 days start, let's say, April 1st, right? 90 days after that, you test, you get tested, but you miss a test here. It means the start of the block is when they count in the date.
Right.
That is what happened with Christian Coleman.
Okay.
Now he's an American and everybody is saying he get away because he's an American and they had to see he run because he's the fat. No, that's not what happened. The WADA, AIU, and U.S. anti-doping all agreed that, listen, Christian Coleman's legal team made a valid legal argument that we cannot fight. And they say, you know what? Take win. So his last missed test was outside of that 12-month period when you counted from the first day of his 90-day reporting, not if you counted from when he missed his first test. Right? So if it is a block like this and you get tested here, is here it's starting from.
Okay.
Plain and simple. So my Bush lawyer accepts that argument.
So he was lucky in that regard. But then most times when athletes miss 3 tests, you always, as WADA, you remember WADA is on the hunt for drug cheats. You know, they
catch them out of competition.
And the objective of WADA is, okay, we came to test George Matheson and he ducked the test. We gone back in the WADA office. Me and Tay say, look, boy, I feel that George Matheson, you see he missed the test, we go try him again. Maybe girlfriend and him break up and he must see was going through a rough time. All right, no problem. We come back 4 months later and you miss the second test. But this time when I come out, I say, Tay, boy, you missed our second test. What do you think? Nah, be going on gun for him. You know that is what they are going, they have decided. You are now a suspect. You are an athlete who might be doing something that is not right. So now you have red flagged yourself. You have put yourself in the crosshairs. Well, you know what?
They're looking for you.
They're looking for you. Don't make a misstep. And as I say, I'm disappointed in the fact that after putting herself in the crosshairs, Michelle Lee, he made that misstep. And
what's really important for people to understand is that the reporting, to be in that pool, it is the National Federation that puts you in that pool because of you're an elite athlete in their pool. So the reporting goes, entries would know, TTOC will know, your legal team, everybody who was on your reporting list will know. So they report the first missed test. We report the second missed test. The first missed test was last year, June. All right, your second missed test is February. You can miss a test 6 weeks after?
Yeah.
Somebody must be saying, Michelle, here was the scene, Gill. Gill, we had to sort out this thing. You make sure you're where you're supposed to be in it.
Yeah.
Why hasn't that happened? Now, I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? But there must be reasons.
So somebody, the entry is TTOC,
all must have called and say, hey, Gill, what's going on, no matter what?
Yeah.
You know, even our management team, you know, I find it, as I say, I find it disappointing.
It is, because at the end of the day, you're on a money contract.
Yes.
Right? You are a representative of our international
The lawyer
brand.
going and run no Diamond League for you.
Yeah, you can't say, you know, my manager, Gill, suit up.
But the manager, I think the manager is supposed to take a more hands-on approach because...
Yeah, Mommy Bushu approach. You're supposed to break out that ball pistol.
That's how your money coming in.
Exactly.
I agree, but
because that's your prize.
But you know what I love about managers?
Yeah.
George Matheson running, he can't run tomorrow. Yeah, boy, T. I forget. Who's that? George who?
I would say that about Michel's
He used to run. Where you run? Yeah.
We need to take a break. When we come back, let's quickly discuss.
Is it hot in here?
Let's quickly discuss the team that is going to Doha.
Sure, no problem.
Because the team has been named. So, I mean, let's see who we could look at medal hopes. Viewers, we'll be right back after this short break.
We, from those encounters together, and this was a North-South game to open the season.
So the team might be playing well, as we always say with Trinidad and Tobago.
Futsal did a great for me.
Okay, hey everybody. Welcome to another edition of Field of Dreams on ACTN. My name is Steve David.
Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back.
George, you're having a good time.
Yeah. It reminds me of where I saw watched 2 men on Synergy long time. Now, the team for Doha World Championship has been named.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Now, Michelle Lee is a non-entity right now.
Right.
But she was really one of our medal hopes. So already one medal has gone out the door.
And not just medal hopes, George. A key member of
the team.
Of the 4x100 meter relay team.
So where do we go from here, and who we are seen as potential medal hopes?
I would like to think the 4x4 still have a chance. I wonder.
4x400 men?
Men.
Right.
Men. And of course, Kishon will always still have a chance. You know, javelin is always, you know, you get the top guys, and then you have a couple of guys who might have a bad day or a good day. So I'm hoping that Kishon definitely has a good day and comes through with an 87. In fact, Kishon, I gave you 89.92. That is where you're going to throw and you go win the gold medal. You go thank me later. Kind of
Make
thing.
it so.
No, let's look quickly at the women. Kamara Durant,
Marissa Preto,
Kellyanne, Ryan Thomas, Hackett, and Portia's Warren in the shot put. But let's look at the
4x1.
Yeah, at the
Wait,
so you have Kelly, Rhea, Simoy.
We might make the final.
All right, and Mauricia.
Yeah,
right, Kamaria.
Yeah. I mean, let's.
I'm being brief. We make any final. I can't see much more than that.
Listen, there is no doubt that this team will miss 2 very, very important athletes. Khalifa Saint Fort on her day is a great athlete.
We talk about Michelle and out of the world team, but we ain't really add Khalifa to that.
So
we lose 2 really good athletes already.
There's top draw people who. Let's not pretend that we won't miss them, right? But you know what? They ain't gonna be there, so let's stop talking about it. The young women who are here, Kamaria, Mauricia, Kelly is not disposable thing. Kelly come out, you know, she might have had the last conversation we had when Ayana was here, George. Kelly knows what her goals are. You understand? So she would be coming out. Doha would definitely be one of her major stops on her way to whatever podium intention she has for Tokyo. So Doha is important for Kellyanne Baptiste. That is obvious. So she is going to be coming there she's going to bring her speed, she's going to bring her experience, right? Because she's done this before. Some of the younger athletes, Kamaria Durant, Marcia Puerto, they're going up there. So they're more of an unknown quantity, but certainly they always show up.
It's good to take them to World Championships. If they perform, they get to the finals. It's a good stepping stone for the next season, and you know, some Diamond League runs and some obviously heading into Tokyo. Let me talk about the men.
Yeah, let's talk about the
men 4x4. All right.
Before we go further, we're not seeing the Richard Thompson's.
Richard and retire.
Richard retire.
Richard, you retire.
I had heard that he was coming out. Huh? So I had heard heard he was coming out for Open
retired.
Champs. I don't know what happened.
Move on. Move on.
Marshall Cedeno, Darren Alfred, Dion Lendor, Onel Mitchell, Asa Guevara. Right? And Jareem Richards. Yeah. I will tell you straight up, Jareem in your team, you got a chance. Darren Alfred, Dion Lendor, Asa Guevara, these are not potons. This is we are always going to be in with a game.
They have a pedigree.
They got some pedigree, you know what I mean? If you jump that fence, you're going to get bite, right? So, are we going to be going in as favorites? No, we never will, right? Jamaica will always be up in there. America will always up there. The Bawley brothers in Belgium, they will always be.
So it's not going to be easy like in the Pan American game.
That wasn't easy.
Right. That wasn't easy.
Right.
And it's not going to be, I don't think they will have such
but what I mean, they will have more.
They're going to have
stiffer competitions
but you know what?
in World Champions because
we are the defending world champions.
Yes, right.
And that counts for something.
Yes.
And I think these guys will run, and I honestly think they will medal. And if not, you know, again, they have another chance.
That's the relay team you're talking about.
I follow Marshall Cedeno online, and he has been running, and he said he's been running pain-free. So my brother, I just hope
because
that
he pulled up in the
I hope that Hammy holds out for the whole duration of Doha, because Marshall is, I mean, I don't want to say an unknown quantity because he's been doing it since juniors. He's got that kick. His race strategy has been much more consistent over the last couple of years. Unfortunate with this injury, it came at a really bad time. But you never say, you know, I feel like I'm going to pull a hamstring today.
But it mightn't be such a bad time because World Championships is this year, but the real thing is the Olympics, and I think everybody's really aiming for that.
So is there any notable absentee that you would have liked to see on the team?
I would have liked to see them take a 4x100 to see where that is.
The men's 4x100 team was ranked number 16 in the world. However, with Noah Carney Hislop, we talked about this youth. He's at LSU. His priority is to his scholarship right now. I don't know if there were other mitigating circumstances, but he was unavailable for the team. I don't know, but that put a blow in it. Right? We know we've had major issues because the other guy who would have been on that team, Gill and Purcell, is also coming off a long-term injury as well. So the mere fact is, yeah, we qualified, we could have sent somebody, but what are we going to do? You know, what we going there for? We know that Morning FM, we're not going to drag the flag, and if we don't go and show up and at least, you know. So for me, I understood the executive decision, respect that. There are athletes who are going to be like, boy, I coulda, woulda, and you hear it. You talk to some of these older athletes, even going back 20, 30 years from now, ago, you would hear them still talking about the day they did not get a chance to go and run in a relay. So it's tough. I understand. I might have made different decisions, but I am not the guy signing them checks. I am not the guy stamping them things to send a team out. Checks. I am not behind the 8 ball here, right? But we have athletes, regardless of what, this is not the games in the back of the bush where they would just mow the lawn and it has some potholes and they use the bush for car park, and today we have a big meet. This is the World Championship. We don't, as yet, have human beings on another planet, so this is the best championship for athletes in the world, and whatever we do over there, I'm going to applaud because it would have been the best shot that we did, right? But I'm a sports fan.
We coming to close to the election.
Which election?
The general election.
No money for sports. Forget it. You know why?
Yeah.
I was telling Aaron, all your sports people spend out all the money. It have no griff, it have no kickback, it have nothing that politicians
do you think enough money is given to sports right now?
Not even 1/10 of the potential is being spent.
And not only that, I think, forget the government for a side, I also think private sectors are not,
5 minutes,
are not involved in sport in the way they should be. And again, that goes back to the development aspect like I spoke about. Let's just take, for example, and I'm just going to use the analogy. Every day in this country, we have massive traffic jams, right? Let's say 5 liters of gas, every car is using 5 liters of gas more than they need to. And you multiply that by 200,000 cars, that's 1 million liters. That cost is running It's not something that's stagnant. The same thing applies to youth who get themselves involved in crime or are not being a productive member of society. It's a cost that's continually running. So when people come and say, well, we should be investing in sport is too much money. No, because know that the money that you're not investing in sport directly by more programs, better facilities, better coaches or whatever, is running. Every time you didn't invest in sport here, you had a couple of youths here that went the wrong way, that end up in the criminal justice system, that has an actual dollar value to it. Every time, if a kid gets, let's say we have a young youth that is involved in a gun crime, that has a cost.
Yeah.
The police has to pick him up. He goes to jail. There's a lawyer. There's court appearances. There's transport on time and whatever. All of those things have a cost. At the end of his time, if he does end up going to jail, that also has a cost. So that cost is continually running, and we just don't seem to realize that we need to stop those costs from continually running. We need to pull kids out of that system, because every time we pull a kid out of that system, we take away money that is being spent in that way. When kids end healthcare, massive. We have obesity is a big thing.
Lifestyle diseases, George, is a killer.
Right? So even though that cost mightn't be coming to you today, 5 years down the road, when you have kids suffering from diabetes or adults suffering from diabetes and high blood pressure,
stroke,
it is a cost
heart
on
attack,
the healthcare system.
Yeah.
That cost is also continually running.
So it's not investing money in sports.
Invest it where it will make a difference.
It's not that sports will extend your life, You have a certain amount of things. It's like somebody was saying, just because I drive a Ferrari faster, which is your heart, that don't mean it will last longer. You understand? The fact is, you have a limited time here on this planet. Just because you're used to running, tracking when you was a kid, don't mean you're going to live to be 200. But you know what big difference it makes? You see the quality of life at the end of your life?
Yes.
And the amount of money is for your family is going to be, because at that point, you cannot earn a living anymore. Your family going to try to keep you around because they love your little cute face and your jokes and whatever.
Yeah.
But no one gets off this planet alive, But you know what? The quality of life is affected.
We need to start looking at investing in sport as more than just we giving some people some money to go and run around a stadium and kick a little ball here. No, it has to be that there's a cost factor to it that is real. So every time the Pro League, right, I don't agree with how the Pro League is run, but the Pro League might be keeping people out of certain activities. It might, in its broad spectrum.
I have a problem because I know when something is professional.
But the Pro League isn't.
Nobody don't invest any money.
Listen. Enough respect to the players.
Money have to go to amateur sports, not professional sports.
Enough respect to the players. But the Pro League structure is a joke.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. I have never gone to a Pro League match.
And the Pro League really is an amateur league with just a title right now.
Right. So I've never gone to a Pro League match, and I have no regrets saying that. But just before you go, just want to say enough respect, George, but folks, Rapid 6H merchandise right here in Sando.
Oh, yes.
Right, down on High Street in Arcade Mall.
Yes.
Upstairs, Falcon Fitness, 868 store.
I have yet to have my jersey.
Yeah, I was bringing it to know.
Oh my God.
I was bringing it.
When you happened, if after the show, you ain't pass money on that day. I'll park right at it out. It was a pleasure.
Same here, George.
All the time, man. Anytime.
Really a pleasure. And viewers, you have been viewing Spotlight. Scoreboard. We hope that you enjoyed this segment. From time to time, you will be seeing these guys back here as we talk sports, because there are a lot of sports to talk about in Trinidad and Tobago. Some we doing well, some we really ain't performing, and where the money is going. So, gentlemen, again, thank you all very much. You got to pass out a change on the company. Free
plug.
So if you have missed any part of the program, remember tomorrow there's a repeat at 1 p.m. So join us next week right here at ACTN, and we'll continue chatting sports.
Wonderful.
See you. Have a blessed week ahead.
You too. Good night.